What's up guys, ATCZ here. Welcome back to Yugioh Deck of the Day. Today we have a very requested update and we decided we would wait for the new support to do one. And this is the Fluffal deck profile that we have been promised you guys. It's a very good deck. It has got really good support with Rise of the Duelist. It now has ways to do things that it didn't have before. I'm going to show you exactly how to play this deck, the deck choices that you need to make in order to have the most success with it, and show you exactly what you're going to do when you're going first or when you're going second. So now, before we begin, if you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our new videos, and now let's get to the deck profile. So starting off with the 3-offs, we have 3 Fluffal Dog. When it's summoned from the hand, you can add 1 Edging Sabers or any Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand. So it's basically the start of the deck. You can use this either as a normal summon, or you can special summon from your hand if you top deck it with Vendor, or if you top deck another Fluffal with Vendor and you already had a dog in your hand. So there are many ways to get it out of your hand, and it's the most generic summon you will ever have in this deck. 3 Fluffal Penguin. Before, I didn't think maxing out this card was really important, but now there are 2 different reasons why I think you need to max out on this. One, its effect to fusion summon, which gives you a draw 2 and discard 1, and also it's a level 4 water, which is very, very important, has very good synergy with one of the new cards that came out, and you can probably already realize exactly what it is by mentioning the level attribute. 3 Fluffal Bear. This, you discard this to get to your toy vendor from your deck. It has a secondary effect that all of you will forget. You can tribute this from the field to add a polymerization from your grave to your hand. You can only use either effect once per turn, not both on the same turn. The second effect rarely comes up. It comes up like in grind games where you have used all your polys and need something to fuse. But again, it's the most important thing to get your vendor, and now having multiple vendors is actually combo because of the new Fluffal monster that came out. So if you have like one on the field, one in your hand, that's basically all you need. 2 Fluffal Wings. With this, you can banish this from your grave along with another Fluffal monster, send a vendor from your field to the grave, draw 2 cards. The vendor will also give you a search. Really, really good. You need to set this up with your bear and your dog very early so you can get a draw 2 and a search, so you can see the cards you need to be able to OTK. The new Fluffal monster, just a one-off, 1 Fluffal Dolphin. The reason this card is a one-off is because it doesn't do anything on its own, but it's a really good card when combined with Vendor, because you can reset a Vendor from your grave to the field, and then send a Fluffal or a Jim Sabers from your deck to the grave. And also, if it's sent to the grave as fusion material, you can shuffle back one of your polys, one of your fusion spells that are banished on your grave, so you can recycle your polys, you can recycle your 1 Fry for fusion that you run in this deck, because you don't want to run more than 1. And the good thing about this card is that it makes Foolish Burial Goods a 1-card combo, because you can use goods, you send your vendor, you search this, you summon this, you reset your vendor, and then you send your wings from your deck to the grave. So you already have a wings in the grave and you have another Fluffal in your hand to discard with vendor. That's basically a wings draw right there. Also, if you have 2 vendors, you can discard 1 for the other vendor's effect, then search your dolphin with a discarded vendor's effect, summon it, reset the second vendor, send wings, and then you have the second vendor's effect as well to discard and draw 1 card. So that's also really, really good, and gives you the utility you need to get to your wings play a lot more often. This is why I think it's a one-off, but it's a really good one-off. The rest of the one-offs, 1 Fluffal Owl, you search this whenever you haven't used your summon and you still haven't seen one of your polymerizations. 1 Fluffal Cat. This is basically to give you one of your polys when you fuse, so you make sure you have enough fusion material in order to be able to OTK. And this is the reason why all these one-offs have great utility for this deck, because they keep you in the game during the late game, or they give you more advantage when you need to be able to OTK. Because it's a fusion deck, you're wasting a lot of materials, so you need to use materials that give you some form of advantage when you use them as fusion material. Now for the Edge Imps, the new Edge Imp, this is probably the best card that this deck has gotten in a long, long time, ever since Patchwork was released, was announced so many years ago, and what got released in Soul Fusion. 3 Edge Imp Scythe. This card from Rise of the Duelist is absolutely insane. It gave Fluffal not only an extra copy of an Edge Imp that it needed, because it only used 3 Edge Imp Chain and 1 Edge Imp Sabers, so 4 were not enough sometimes, unless you saw Patchwork. This also gives it a hand trap that can be used as a Phantasme as well. So what I mean by that is that during your opponent's main phase, you can fusion summon with this card and 1 Fluffal in your hand. So you usually summon the new Frightful monster. I will show it to you once we get to the extra deck. But this triggers Penguin. So when you fuse during your opponent's turn with this, you have a disruption because of the effect of the new fusion monster that got released, but you also get to draw two and discard one with Fluffal Penguin. So you use this as Phantasme as well in order to be able to dig for more hand traps, which is why I run normal hand traps in this deck, not cards like Impermanence or Gamma, hand traps that I'm still able to use even if I have a monster on the field. So I have more chances to disrupt my opponent when I'm going second, which is really, really huge. It also has a graveyard effect. It acts as a Return of the Dragon Lords for Fright for Fusion monsters. Both effects are once per turn, but still you need this secondary effect because of the effect of the Frightful monster, that it's kind of like a break sword. It pops one card on each side of the field, but since the effect is simultaneous, if you protect your own monster, your opponent's card will still get popped. So that's where the synergy is from. 3 Agent Chain, the bread and butter of the fusions. If you discard this, you get your Patchwork in your hand. If you already have your Patchwork, you get your Fry for Fusion, pretty standard. And 1 Agent Sabers, you just play one of this because not only is it searchable through many, many ways, with Vendor, with Dog, Dolphin, etc., but you can also recycle it from your grave. You can special summon it from your grave by placing a card from your hand on the top of your deck. And this effect to stack a card on the top of your deck is very, very important for two reasons. One, you can use this to stack a Fluffle, so you can use Vendor's effect guaranteed when you top deck that Fluffle, or if you have run out of polys, you can put a poly back in your deck so you can activate Patchwork, because there are so many scenarios where you already have gone through all of your polys in your hand, and then you don't have anything to use for Patchwork's effect, and you need the Gym. So there are many ways to use this in a very utility way. And for the hand traps, play 3 Ash Blossom and 3 Effect Veiler. Like I said before, I am choosing these hand traps for this deck because if I draw them, even after I've summoned Whale, I can still use them on my opponent to be able to disrupt him. Because if I were playing cards like Gamma or Impermanence, I would have a monster on the field, so I would not be able to use them. For the spells, through Polymerization, of course, it's probably the only fusion deck in the game right now that wants to run 3 polys and actually has to run 3 polys, which is very, very cool for this deck. 3 Fry for Patchwork, searching your poly, 1 Agimp, very, very good card. Searchable with Agimp Chain. 3 Toy Vendor, you have to max this even more than before. Like I said, you need to play 3 of this and 3 Bear, because having 1 Vendor on your field and 1 Vendor in your hand means that you have the Wings combo because of Dolphin. 3 Foolish Burial Goods, same thing, even better than before because of Dolphin. The Dolphin makes this card a 1-card combo. Before, you would need like Foolish Burial Goods and something like a Wings, a Bear, or a Dog in order to have your Wings play. But now you can have it with any Fluffal in your hand as long as you discard it with Vendor and you get your Vendor back with Dolphin and send Wings from the deck to the grave. And 1 Fry for Fusion, because you search this when you have gone through pretty much everything, is the Miracle Fusion of the deck. Usually you will go with this for your Fright for Wolf to have a lot of attacks, because it gains more attacks depending on more materials you use, but you can use pretty much anything you want. And now it's recyclable with your Fluffal Dolphin, so even if you need it during the late game, you can still put it back in your deck and search it later with Chain. Now for the extra deck, starting off with the new fusion monster, 3 Fright for Cruel Whale. This card is really good with Scythe because when it's fusion summoned, you can destroy 1 card on each side of the field. So you target itself, you target 1 card your opponent controls. You can protect Whale with Scythe so it doesn't get destroyed. It's a disruption. During the later stages, you can pop cards like your own Vendors to get searches. It also has another quick effect that you can target a fusion monster you control. You can send Frightful card from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and that monster gains attack equal to half of its original attack. People are taking the new Frightful spell to be able to send this with Whale. I don't think it's necessary because it's only an extra break to be able to, if you send this to the grave, you can banish it, special summon Fluffal from your hand. I don't think you need to play that card. I think sending extra deck monsters is okay. You can send extra copies of Patchwork if you don't have to use more. I think it's very good. And the most important thing about this card is level 9. So if you're going first, you can probably guess what you're trying to do. You can summon Calamities now, which gives the deck something to go when you're going first, because the deck can only summon level 8s before, because cards like Sabertooth, so you could go for like a 38 or a Photon Lord, and you didn't do anything going first. So yep, this is the reason this deck can now blind second, or if you want to play it as a control deck, you can also opt to go first. Next up to Sabertooth, just 2, because you need to get back your monsters, but I think 3 is overkill. I've never run into any scenario that I need to summon 3. 1 Kraken back, I think you need to play 2, but now just 1 is perfectly fine. You can recycle with Sabertooth whenever you want. 1 Tiger, use this with Sabers and any kind of material so you can pop a lot of cards in your opponent's field. field, and one wolf which gets more attacks depending on how many fusion materials you use, though this is a monster you're usually summoning with your Fry for Fusion in order to be able to attack for game. For the Exist monsters, we have one Tricking of all Calamities, of course. With Whale, you use the first two whales to summon your Calamities, and then you're using the third whale with Edzim Scythe, which is why I forgot to mention this is why I'm maxing Whale. But your Calamities you will new probably the game if you're going first. 138, because there are some scenarios where you can summon this and Calamities on the field, have extra protection. One Bahamut Shark and one Totally Awesome, which is why I mentioned that being level 4 water for Penguin is very important, because now we have Dolphin, which is also level 4 water, and Penguin also has an effect that when it's on the field you can special summon a Fluffal from your hand, so it's very easily to search both and get your Bahamut Shark and your Totally Awesome on the field. When you tribute your Totally Awesome, you can either get back itself to summon it again during the next turn, or you can get back your Penguin to have more fusion material to attack your opponent. And for the Link monsters, we have one Anaconda, because you can use this to use your Fry for Fusion to special summon your wolf with a lot of attacks after you've gone through all of your opponent's negates by using various cards like Tiger and Whale and all that stuff. One Phoenix to sometimes pop some problematic back row, and it's also important to have generic Link 2s in this deck, because if you sometimes top deck Wings with Vendor and you special summon it on the field, you need a way to put it in the grave. You can use cards like Link Kuribo, you can use cards like Relinquished Anima, there are many ways, but I think just having a Phoenix is more than enough. And one Appaloosa, because this deck can spam a lot of monsters on the field, so sometimes if you don't have enough fusion spells to go for a 38 play or a Calamities play, just using all your monsters for Appaloosa is the way to go. So yep, that's the deck, guys. It's a very, very good deck. You can fuse to death when you're going second to destroy your opponent. You can combo going first. It now has all the tools it needs to be an actually really good rogue deck. Try it out. You'll have a lot of fun playing it. It's very, very good. You will enjoy it, trust me. If you're an Arc 5 fan, this is the deck for you, and if you're a Fusion fan as well. So yep, like I said, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It helps us a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our new videos. Hit the notification bell to get notified when we upload new stuff, and we'll see you next time.